Jupiter and Saturn are polar opposites, folks. Okay? Saturn is the planet, I call Saturn the vice president of accounting because he always says no. Saturn's job, as I mentioned earlier, is boundaries, right? He's the guy who says, you don't have time for that, you don't have money for that, stay the course, focus on your long-term goals, don't give up. He's Mr. Persistence, okay? But he's kind of a wet blanket, as I said earlier, especially in this chart with Sun making a square to Saturn. I'm sure our subject felt that there was a very heavy Saturn influence on him. Jupiter is the polar opposite. Earlier when I said Saturn gets a bad rap, I wasn't kidding, folks. He really does, unfortunately. If you work with Saturn, you will have results, but they will take a long time. The flip side is Jupiter. So Jupiter is the planet that everybody tends to like. Okay? Ancients called Jupiter the greater benefic. Okay? He was the guy that everybody wanted to see prominently in their charts because Jupiter is the planet of immediate gratification. He is the planet of growth. He's the planet of good luck and good times. Saturn always says no, but honestly, Jupiter doesn't really know how to say no. Jupiter has a problem because Jupiter doesn't understand what boundaries are. And people who have a prominent Jupiter in their chart want freedom. One of Jupiter's main keywords, folks, is freedom. They want the freedom to do what they want, when they want, as often as they want. They just want that freedom. They don't know how to say no. Jupiter does not know how to say no. And so as we look at this chart, we also see a very prominent Jupiter next to the midheaven, next to the, the nadir, next to the IC. Okay? And again, remember this IC is the family line and the private life. Jupiter is the planet of, one of the planets of enjoyment. Okay, where do we want to get our honors and rewards? Well, Jupiter is sitting in Taurus, and Taurus represents the collector. Taurus represents anything that is material, anything that is sensual. It's a Venus-ruled sign, appropriately enough. And so as we look at this Venus in Taurus, we see someone who wanted for their private life to collect and be possessive of people. That's one possible way that you could interpret this. And again, this fourth house is a part of your life that only a few people are supposed to see, right? This 10th house is where where it's public, right? This up here, this is our career, this is our reputation, okay? He didn't have Jupiter up there. He had Jupiter down here. Very significant difference. When you're thinking about a chart and you're thinking about planets in a chart and where they are, Jupiter is the planet of where I want to receive awards and honors. So he wanted them privately. As I said, Jupiter is also a luck planet. With Jupiter, you often find yourself in the right place at the right time. Now, because this planet was just on the edge of that fourth house, one of the things that comes to mind is when he got a sweetheart deal after his first arrest and conviction. One of the things that he was able to do during at least part of the 18 months that he was incarcerated was he was able to do work release. That is very much exemplified here with Jupiter in the fourth house. He was released. Okay, he was released and into his home. The fourth house is where we live. So where was his freedom? His freedom was at home. Now again, he had a number of different homes that he traveled between. And what is also interesting is that Jupiter is the planet that deals with travel, especially long distance or overseas travel. And so this is someone who had their home and they were yet always on the move, and they had different homes to work with. And the idea of having different homes, having a lot of things, money, for example, also, we can kind of see that from Taurus, because Taurus, again, is a sign that is sensual, but it's a sign that does have the potential to be materialistic. It's a sign that really likes to collect people and things and be a little bit possessive. You're starting to see a picture come together. The astrology won't tell you how someone is going to live their chart, but it gives you a place to start investigating. As I always say, the chart is where you start.